Right then, did you all get to watch the main film? You have? Okay. And what I'm going to show you here is how we do the slate splitting. And this is still done by hand, these bodies. They try different ways of doing it. With some slates they can't use machines to do it, but most of them still done by hand. Now, you notice we keep these blocks wet. They split better for you when they are wet, because if these heads dry up, they can be a bit of a problem. Now we can only split this with the grain. You have to go with the grain every time. Who said that? Did you? Want to try it? Anything? Gentlemen there?
You go again.
But I can split that again. 6 times.
No.
You can. You believe me? Okay? There you go.
Yeah, that's what I was just thinking.
There's your mallet.
No pressure.
No pressure.
You break this, you pay for it. There you go.
This first one?
Yep.
Did you know it?
I left it in there. Yeah, it works better if you want it in there. You were trying it?
No. I just play around.
Alright, okay. So you're holding it just like that, normally join it. Keep pushing, go ahead.
How many an hour have you got to do?
Well, I go home at 5. Yeah, if you look, you know. Okay. Good again. And push it all the way.
Got there at the end. Like everything else.
Okay, well done.
Thanks very much.
I hate so, first time for you?
Yeah. Yeah.
He's flying. So, this one is quite a good one to work, really. You know, we get different colours of slate. Different colours dictate to us, you know, how thin, how thick we can get them down to. This one comes in from a different quarry. I can split that again. This will just keep on going. Like, you know, I can get this down to a mill, maybe. Normally get a wow.
It's just quiet.
So, is anything left-handed here?
Yeah, you are.
You're left-handed? Well, extremely, you know. Did they clap for you? They never clap for me, but I'm So, you know, if you're left-handed, you would struggle, because everything was geared for right-handed people. You had to do everything right-handed. Here, they made you do it right-handed. If you were left-handed there, you couldn't have done it like that. You had to do it like you did.
I've used both actually.
All right, okay. I've been told that left-handed people are extremely intelligent. Not true, because I'm left-handed. And I've had to learn to do everything right-handed. But this is where the youngsters, how old are you? 14. 14. You could start working here at the age of 12. This is where you'd start. Now the main action, believe it or not, would have been in here. Because if you catch this blade as you're cutting here, you catch it on the wrong side here. You see you're going to come across that thumb. That used to be quite common here at one time. I had a lady ask me a few years ago, how often would you lose the thumb? Once. You want to try this? Do then, you measure the slate because you're trying to get the biggest piece you can out of it. So you measure it. I'm going to Does anybody know why we do this? Why would you chamfer the edges? What do you think?
The roof tiles, to put the water getting in.
Sorry?
It's the roof tiles, to put the water getting underneath.
And you're not left-handed? Just intelligent. Or you
I think he's left-handed, but he's intelligent.
Oh, right. Well, it is to allow for rainwater. We don't get much rain here, but it does. If you were to put the square edge on the roof, you get that capillary reaction, so the water will be going back under for you. So that's why we do it simple as that. Now, if you worked in this quarry in the early 1900s, if you were going to be doing it like this, on average in a day, you could achieve around 400 slates in a day, split them and rest them by hand. But if you're making 400 here in a day, the owners then wouldn't pay you for 400. They would take breakages off you. So they blame you for the breakages even though you made them in perfect condition. And the reason for that was, if you have a look behind you here, all these slates would have been transported from here. They would have been loaded then onto the ships in the next one. And because of that transportation of only 8 miles, they reckon that 28 out of every 100 are going to break. So if you're making 400 in a day, they're paying you for 288 slates through no fault of your own. And you know, you were lucky if you worked here. If you worked Gwynedd and Stiniog, the distance became longer to go to Port Dinorwic. So they're only going to pay you for 67 slates. They're going to take 33 slates off you, just because of that distance becoming longer. I doubt whether that many would break. It was just a way of getting more out of you and paying you less for them, like you know. They were taking breakages off us when I worked in Padarn quarries until the late 80s. And the way they were doing it then, we had to count the slates in Welsh. But we wanted to have to go 1, 2, 3, we'd have to go 3, 6, 9. And every third slate they would take it off you. So you could have good days, maybe making 900 in a day. So they're going to pay you for 600 and take 300 off you. You know, nothing you could do. Not fair when you think about it. Now, can you all hear me? Is anybody from a foreign country here?
Yep.
Where are you from?
Spain.
From Spain?
Yeah.
You understand me?
Yeah, quite.
Yes.
So, yeah, more or less.
It's very important what I'm going to say next. I'm going to say it slowly, just in case
No,
you miss out.
I'm used to it. More or less.
I don't get paid yet. At the end, we throw money. Because of health and safety, no coin. You understand?
Yeah.
You should be saying no. No, I get paid. I used to get paid better hearing you. Now, I'm just going to tell you a bit about this slate. You know, it's always been top quality. The reason the quarry closed in '69 it wasn't that they ran out to the block, it was just that slates are coming in from different parts of the world now. And at one time here in Wales, you would only be allowed to use the Welsh slates. Things started changing then. On the wall in the park over there, you got slates coming in from China, America. Nobody from China, America? No. They're not. Spanish slates?
Really?
They're not so bad.
There are not too much.
But a lot cheaper than our slates.
Really?
Yes. You see the 2412 in the middle there, or the 2414. How much do you think each? What would you have to pay for one of them?
Today?
Yes.
Agree.
Not far off, £8. They're coming in from China for £1 each. They're £8 each for the Welsh slate, £1 each from China, but nowhere near the quality. You know, these are the top.
The Chinese have copied everything.
but they're on £1 from there. They're 50. A chap in South Wales, so you can buy them for 50p delivered. And I had a lady. I just couldn't understand how they could do that. But I had a lady in with me last week. Very interesting lady. She worked on the ships, container ships. And the way they get them from China is that they use them as ballast in ships. And they pay for the slates for them to come over here. And that's how they're able to, that's unbelievable. Now, if I'm working in the quarry, it depends how good the quality is. Some days I could make 800 in a day, quite achievable. Other days maybe 400 in a day. But if I make 800 of those big ones in a day, I'm going to make that quarry £6,400 in a day. But I get paid piecework. So you know I get paid per slate. How much? Give me a price. What do I get? Boys? Everyone I give you at £8, what do you give me?
10p.
But I'm talking to the lads. 50p, that's £400 a day. You see? I'm going to work for that £10. But it's a lot less than 50, less than 10. It's 2p a slate. Today, if I'm working there today, they give you a penny for each one you split. They give you a penny then for each one you test. So you're getting £16 for making it. We also get, I think the basic then now is about £300 a week. But it's not well paid when you think of that week and what they're paying out. Now,
Do you do any heritage work?
pardon?
You've been just recorded doing sort of heritage.
A lot of this now, if listed buildings, you know, they still have to have Welsh slates. You know, one time here in Wales, within a radius of about 30-40 miles, you couldn't use anything else but these. You know. But now, you know, there's still a huge demand for it. I mean, my son built a house in the village where I lived about 18 months ago. He was going to go for the Spanish slates because they're a lot cheaper. But in the end, I convinced him to go for the Welsh. Because I paid for them. Anyway, you see how much waste? For every ton of slate you might split maybe 8 to 9 ton of waste. So a huge amount. And that's what you can see when you come in here. You know, in the early years, if that block wasn't any good, they would throw the block away. But nowadays, nothing is wasted. Because if they can't make roofing slates with it now, what they do, they crush it. And then people have in the gardens like we've got around here. You have it? Gentlemen here? Did you buy it by the ton or small one?
I inherited it.
Or did you? Did you have to buy it?
Yeah, by the bags.
Buy ton bags?
No, that's really small.
If you buy this by the ton from a garden centre, I've had people in here paying well over £100 a ton for this. But the quarry where I work, I never worked in this one, is 10 miles from here. I still get this at £10 a ton. And I deliver.
Spain.
£12.50. Something else to make with this quarry waste is they. What part of Spain?
The north. Between Bilbao and Madrid, Burgos, a small city.
Oh, right. I took my wife to Spain 3 years ago. Fantastic time.
Yeah.
Really nice.
Much better than here.
She's still there. Something else they make with this quarry waste is they crush it then into a very, very fine powder. The powder then is exported to Germany. They'll take all the impurities like iron and copper out of it. and they make something special that very refined powder. Lady here, what do you think?
They make out of powder.
Sorry?
Yeah, makeup, mineral makeup.
Either you're extremely intelligent or you've been in here before, which is it?
I just sold it.
It goes into cosmetics, talcum powder, eyeshadow, lipstick, you name it, it's in it. Used in toothpaste. Boys use hair gel. Middle one? Yeah, that's in hair gel. Look what happens. How old are you?
22.
22. Same age. Now, you know when I said these would split thinner for you? When this quarry was working in 1890, there would have been 3,200 work here. So all of them would have been youngsters learning the trade. And what this is a slate fan. Nobody seen one of these before? No. They're extremely rare, these fans. They're all made by hand. You see the thickness we can get it down to? That's down to about a millimetre. You like it? What's it worth, I think?
£100.
Couple of hundred. You know, when I said they were rare, this one's extremely rare. This was made by a very skilled, left-handed. So £200?
Couple of thousand.
Couple of thousand, okay. Nobody outbids you. Can't be yours, okay?
I don't know. Yeah, maybe
I have to sell one every day.
one every day. Maybe the best bidder.
I sell them because...
I don't know, 3,000.
3,000?
Yeah.
I said 5,000.
5, are you okay with that? Lady in the back? A 1,000? Ladies? Do you think in the thousands? Any closest?
What's it used for?
Not much.
Just to be difficult.
Well,
Or deflect.
I make them because my wife wants to come home. So I sell them so I can keep her there. It's just decorative. Just what they would have made as an apprentice piece, really. A bit of fun, really. But they're all made by hand. Has to be top quality slate. 530 million years old, this slate. So who went 6,000? Okay, you've got change for me. £80. It takes me 6 hours to make it.
Wow.
It's got to be worth 80, isn't it?
Yes.
It's the last one.
American Express.
Anything.
That's good, I've got some green shells.
Is it more interesting to make than just splitting the slate normally?
Now it is, yes. I sell them now. Yes. You see the dragon? I cut the dragon out of the coping saw. So, you know, it's just a blade used on timber, really, it's not a special blade. It's, you know, how soft this slate is. And the you're 14, you said? Yeah. You football supporter? I was only asking. You like the dragon? Yeah. I made this about 2 years ago, and I had the young lad like he was in his 14, and he dropped it. I gave it to him and he dropped it. Can you see the head's broken? I've had to glue the head back. And this young lad never apologised. Isn't that awful? He's buried. Any questions, anybody? Any questions?
When you say about quality between the Chinese and the West, what do you actually mean by quality? How it's split? How
Well, you get a chance to walk there after, you know, you'll feel the slate, very brittle, thicker, but there's a lot of iron partitions. So, you know, with iron, it's going to rust very quickly.
So it's a master golden?
No. These roofs out here were 1870. What would have perished, first of all, would have been the nails. But what they used now are copper nails. So, you know, you're looking indefinite, really. Spanish slates, they're not too bad. Anybody else?
How did you get the holes in the front?
How do we make the holes in the front? Are you thinking of buying it, so I can't tell you? I drill the holes in.
I'm just interested in how you get holes in the
1872. I drilled the holes in. I split them all by hand first, and then I drilled the holes in, and I cut the patterns in then after I drilled it.
Just wondered if you needed water or something.
We do, you know, if you're cutting those slates, we need water to mix with the dust, you know. But if I'm drilling those, I use a mask, to be honest.
Would there have been an apprenticeship system for the youngsters starting?
Yes.
They would
Yes.
have to go through a process.
But nothing anymore here, to be honest with you, because the lad I have here with me, well, I'm retired, you know, I retired 3 years ago.
Yeah.
My wife wanted me to go home, so I only do 7 days, you know, 12-hour shifts. But the lad was an apprentice with me, and he's 52. He's working here now, so, you know, there's no apprenticeships anymore. But in the early years, they had to do a 6-year apprenticeship here. The reason for that was they worked for nothing for the first year, just to show loyalty. These quarry owners then would have their own shops, so they would pay you, but you had to spend that money then in their shops. If you got injured here, you paid the medical bills. All the tools you had to pay for them. Not good. Anybody heard of Penryn Castle? Penryn Castle, they had a strike in that quarry in 1900. Not that I was there then, but they had a strike there that lasted 3 years. Longest strike ever. Because of poor pay and poor conditions. Anybody else?
Was it the July so low sitting down to do this?
Why so low?
Comfortable.
That's
Why
good.
not do it table or?
Yeah, that's a good question. This would be, you know, when you started in the quarry, you wouldn't be allowed anywhere near the big ones because, you know, the cost and the thing. So they would give you a chair like this. They give you two sets of legs. So this for an apprentice. As soon as you become qualified, you get another set of legs. So it's going to take a bit of effort to work on the big ones. You see the 3 holes?
Yeah.
They're there for a reason as well. If you move in that quarry, your tools on there and take this with you. It's not called a chair. In Welsh, blocking team. In English, a bum book. That's what they would call it. And that's why it's a lot there. Thank you.
Thank you.
You're welcome. We all watched the film? If you haven't watched the film, it's going to be on again for you at 2 o'clock. So what I'm going to show you here is how we do the slate splitting. And this is still done by hand in these quarries. They've tried different ways of doing it by sawing through the block, but not been successful with it. You'll notice we keep them wet, they're going to split because if these heads dry out, they can be a bit more of a problem. That's all there is to the slate splitting. I don't have to expect anything else. But this should be split again, to be honest with you, to get it down to a roofing slate. But with this one, you can only split it with the crane. You have to go with the crane every time. But this one comes in from a quarry which is about 10 miles from here. Normally, you'd have to mark this all the way around. But you can see there's a piece missing there, so that can be a problem. I'm going to try and split this again, but because of that there, it could be a problem. So if it breaks, it's not my fault. That fault is missing. I'm a Liverpool supporter, okay, so... in.
Yeah.
4 times. Normally get a wow. I can split that again 4 times. 4 times. You believe me?
Yeah.
No. Somebody said yes, so I'm going to go with that, okay? Well, I'm going to show you at the end how thin we can get it down to be, not to make roof me say that's about the thickness you want, really. You wouldn't want to go any thinner. So that's all there is to the slate splitting. But can you see how quick they start to dry up for you? So that's why we keep them wet. I had a lady in about maybe 3 years ago, she asked me why we wet them, and I said they grow for you overnight. And then she continued, then what length will they grow to? Maybe that big. So we come on to here. Is there anybody left-handed here?
Yeah.
Gentleman at the back there. Anybody else? If you were left-handed, you would struggle here, because everything was catered for right-handed people. You had to do this right-handed. Yeah, if you were left-handed there, they make you do it right-handed. Now, I've been told that left-handed people are extremely intelligent.
That's very correct.
It's not true because I'm left-handed. That's what again, this lady asked me how often would you lose the telephone here. You don't lose the telephone once. This is where the youngsters would have started. And you catch the blade on the wrong side, you catch it here, you're going to come across that. That used to be quite common here. How old are you, the young gentleman there?
11.
11. You could start working here at the age of 12. You want to try this? Have a go. Are you a football supporter? You support football? Who's your team?
United.
Pardon?
United.
United. There you go then. So what we do then, you measure the slate because you're trying to get the biggest piece you can out of it. This will give you a 14, just about a 14 Now there's a reason why we chamfer these edges. Any ideas why? Why do you want to create that chamfered edge? Sorry? Who said that? You see, left-handed? It is to allow for rain. We don't get much rain here, but when it does, if you were to put that square edge on the roof, you get a capillary reaction, so the water will be going back under for you. So that's why we do it simple as that. Now, if you worked in this quarry in the early 1900s, if you were going to be doing it like this, on average in a day, you could achieve around 400 slates in a day, split them and rest them. But then the owners then wouldn't pay you for 400, they would take breakers of you. So they blamed you for the breakage, even though you made them in perfect condition. Now, the reason for that was, if you have a look behind you here, all these slates that have been transported from here, they would have been loaded then onto the ships in the next one. And because of that transportation of only 8 miles, they reckon that 28 out of every 100 are going to break. So if you're making 400 in a day, they're only going to pay you for 288 slates through no fault of your own. And you know, you look, if you worked here, if you worked down in Gwynedd, the distance to Port Dinorwic was about 15 miles. So they're only going to pay for 67 slates. They're going to take 33 slates off you, just because that distance is becoming longer to travel. What do you think? It's not fair when you think about it. Now, can you all hear me, by the way?
Yes.
Is there anybody from a foreign country here?
Yes.
From
Germany.
Germany. You understand me? I speak German. Schiefer? See, German? Yes?
Yeah.
And you're from?
Yeah. Afghanistan.
Okay, and you understand me?
Yeah.
Yes, perfectly. It's very important what I'm going to say next. I'm going to say it very slowly in case you miss out. I don't get paid here. The island we throw money at me. And no coins because of health and safety issues. You understand? You should be going like this. No, I get paid. I would have been better paid here. Now, I'm just going to tell you a bit about this slate. You know, it's always been top quality. The reason this quarry closed in '69, they went bankrupt here, because they would have been privately owned. And at one time here in Wales, that's all you would be allowed to use a Welsh slate, nothing else. And the reason the quarry closed was that they couldn't compete with other countries. On the wall in the far corner there, we have slates coming in from Spain, America, and especially from China, which are a lot cheaper than our slates. You see the 2412 in the middle there, or the 2414? How much do you think each? How much do you think for one of them? 20, not quite 20, but they're £8 each, those big ones. But they're coming in from China for £1 each. So, you know, you can't compete against the price of that, but nowhere near the quality. Now, when I never worked in this quarry. I worked 10 miles from here, which is still a working quarry today, feminine quarries. And we worked on piecework, so you know you get paid per slate. If I'm having a good day, the colour of this slate dictates to us, you know, how many I can do in a day. If I work with a grey slate, softer to work with, maybe 800 in a day. So if I make 800 of those in a day, I'm going to make that quarry £6,400. But like I said, you know, I get paid per slate. How much? Every one I give them it's £8. What do I get? Pardon? A pound. That's £800 a day, thank you. 20 pence?
2 pence.
Who said 2 pence?
That's standard piece work, isn't it?
Yeah, 2 pence. Today, if I was there today, you get 2 pence a slate.
Yeah.
Because what they do, they give you a penny for each one you split. You get a penny then for each one you dress. So you're getting £16 for making it.
Nice.
But you get a basic wage. I think the basic is about £300 a week. But it's not well paid when you think what they're making. You know, and what they're paying out. Now, I don't know how many of you watched the film, but I'm sure you were surprised to see how much waste. 80 to 90% is wasted. So for every ton of slate, you split 8 to 9 ton of waste. So in the early years, you know, if I had blocks like that and they weren't workable, you would throw the block away. But nowadays, they don't throw the blocks, they crush them, and then people have it in their gardens, you know, like we put it out here. Anybody got this? Yes? Do you buy it by the ton or small bags?
Small bags.
If you buy this from a garden centre or a building merchant, you could be paying well over £100 a tonne for this. But the quarry when I work, like I said, is 10 miles from here. I can still get this for £10 a tonne. And I deliver. Germany. Something else to make with this quarry waste is they crush it then into a very refined powder. The powder then is exported to Germany. They take all the impurities like iron and copper out of it, and they make something special with that very refined powder. What do you think? Very refined. It goes into cosmetics. Talcum powder, eyeshadow. Yes, yeah. Hair shampoo. Used in hair gel. Gentleman in the back there used hair gel. It's in hair gel. Look what happens. How old are you? 17. 22. Now, when I said these would split again for you, when this quarry was working in 1890, at its peak, there would have been 3,200 working in this quarry. So a lot of them have been youngsters learning the trade. And what this is a slate fan. Nobody's seen one of these before. They're extremely rare, these fans. They're all made by hand, but very, very rare. This one is exceptionally rare. Made by a very gifted left-hander. What's it worth? It's time to go for the ladies. £100.
60.
Pardon?
60
I do the jokes.
Does it work?
You watch in a minute. When I get the right price. How much? Your left-handed?
I am.
300.
I'm going to move on. Pardon? You were going to say what? 250.
300.
300? Lady here? 400. Getting better as we go round. Rich people tend to sit this side. Lady here?
You said it's quite rare, isn't it?
Well, made by a very gifted left-handed, not intelligent. How much?
About 600.
600.
275.
275.
1,000.
Pardon? 1,000. Did you ask me if it works?
Yeah.
You want to go up? I've got a £1,000 bid here. £80. It takes me 6 hours to make one, so it's £80. That's got to be worth 80, isn't it?
Is it heavy?
No, I deliver.
Say for it in your handbag. It's going to be a bit.
You can get, I make them to fit handbags. But it takes me 6 hours to make it, so it's £80. And I have to sell one every day. I've not sold one yet.
Do you make a left-handed version?
This is Any questions? Anybody? I'll start again.
What's the quarry you worked in?
Padarn Quarries, which is 10 miles from the airport of the mountain. There's something else going on there now. So anybody heard of the slipway?
Yeah. So
Yeah. A mile long, travel this mile in 100, I think it's 59 seconds, 125 miles an hour. I went on it 3 years ago, my wife paid for me to go on it. I was disappointed when I came home. But it's well worth it if you get a chance. But it's £80 a pop. I prefer the fans, to be honest with you. You can?
Do you know them big slates with the holes in the one mark things? How do you make the holes? Is it a drill?
Yeah, a pillar drill.
Is it easy to drill through it?
Yeah, they're quite easy to drill. This slate is quite soft, to be honest with you. You see the dragon?
Yeah.
Now I cut the dragon out of the coconut, so there's no special blade. This takes me 6 hours to make. But I had a young gentleman in here. And you're 11, did you say 11? Did you say you were 11?
Yeah.
Well, I made this about 2 years ago. And I had a young gentleman in like yourself. He was 11. And I got ready to talk to him. I was a Liverpool supporter. He was an Evertonian. And do you know what he did? He came out and asked, could he hold the dragon? I had a full house. He dropped it. Big smile on his face. And never apologised. And he's buried. Just you want to hold this? Anybody else?
Are these skills being passed on now?
Pardon?
Are these skills being passed on now?
Did you hear that? Skills. Thank you. Well, there's no apprenticeships anymore. But the apprentice I had with me in the quarry then, he's here now. He's 52. So that tells you something, doesn't it? There's no apprenticeships anymore then. I don't know where it's... I'm retired. I retired 3 years ago. I just do a few days, you know. My wife wanted me to be gone with it. So 7 days here now. 12-hour shifts. Well, there's no apprenticeships anymore. Anybody else? Thank you. This is still done by hand in these quarries. They've tried different ways of doing it by sawing through the block. They can work some blocks by a machine, but this one they can't because it's a harder slate. Sometimes you have to mark this all the way around to get 2 slates out of it. And we keep them wet because they split better for you. And still done by hand. You don't seem impressed.
Very impressed.
How many in a day? It depends, really. If people clap in here, if you work in the quarry, maybe if you're working with good quality, 800 in a day, 100 an hour maybe. But you could be working with different qualities, maybe 400 in a day. Or happy to work, like, you know. They come from different quarries, more or less the same, nearly the same colour, but this one comes in from the quarry which is about 10 miles from here, and I can split that again. I can. Has it? 4 times.
4?
No, I get a well. I can split this 4 times again. I'm going to try once again. I can split this 4 times again.
Wow!
You believe me?
No.
Well, if you believe me, I don't want to show you. I'm going to show you at the end how thin we can get it down to, but not to make roofing slate. That's about the thickness you want to. That's all there is to the slate splitting. We come on to here. Is there anybody left-handed here? Is she left-handed? Yeah. Is she? Anybody else? She's left-handed. Does she know? If you were left-handed, you would struggle, because everything is geared for right-handed people. Your hands still is right-handed. If you were left-handed there, then they did it right-handed. Now, I've been told that left-handed people are extremely intelligent.
We don't believe that.
Well, it's not true, because I'm left-handed. And I had to learn to do everything right-handed. Any boys of 12 years? No. If you were 12 years of age, this is where you start work, and on here. And the main reason, believe it or not, would have been here. Because if you catch this blade as you're cutting here, and you were to catch it on the wrong side as you're coming down here, you catch it here, you're going to come across that thumb. And that used to be quite common here at one time. I had a lady ask me a few years ago, how often would you lose the thumb?
Only once.
It is only once, yes. Anybody want to try this? Any volunteers? Any manual supporters? So what we do then, we measure the slate, you're trying to get the biggest piece you can out of it. Now there's a reason why we have to chamfer the edges, and the idea is why? Why would you want to create that chamfered edge?
Does it run up with rain?
Sorry?
Will the rain run up?
And you're not left-handed?
No.
Just intelligent?
Just intelligent.
It is to allow for rainwater. We don't get much rain here, but if you were to put a square edge on the roof, you get that capillary reaction, so the water may come back into view. So that's why we do it simple as that. Now, if you worked in this quarry in the early 1900s, if you're going to be doing it like this, on average in a day, you can achieve around 400 slates in a day, split them up. But if you're making 400 here in a day, the owners then wouldn't pay you for 400. They would take breakages off you. So they blamed you for the breakages even though you made them in perfect condition. Now the reason for that was transportation from this quarry. And if you have a look behind you here, the slates would have been transported from here. They would have been loaded then onto the ships in the next one. And because of that transportation of only 8 miles, they reckon that 28 out of every 100 are going to break. So you're not getting paid for them. So if you're making 400 in a day, they're going to pay you for 288 slates through North Wales Quarrying. And you know, you're lucky if you worked here. If you work down in Gwynedd, the slates that have been taken to Port Dinorwic, which is about 15 miles away, they're only going to pay you for 67 slates. They're going to take 33 slates off you, just because of that distance becoming longer to travel. What do you think?
Terrible.
Not fair when you think about it. Can you all hear me, by the way?
Yes.
Anybody that doesn't understand me? You know, I'm North Wales, maybe. You okay in the back there? You understand me? Very, you understand? Yeah. Okay. It's very important what I'm going to say next. I don't get paid here. At the end, we throw money. And no coins because of health and safety. Did you all understand? You should be saying no. No, I get paid. Now, I'm just going to tell you a bit about this slate. You know, one of the questions I get is, why did the quarry close? Well, they ran out of block. It wasn't that. It was just that at one time here in Wales, you would only be allowed to use the Welsh slate and nothing else. Things started changing then. And that's why the quarry closed in '69. They just couldn't compete. On the wall in the far corner there, we have slates coming in from Spain, America, and especially from China, which are a lot cheaper than our slates. You see the 2412 in the middle there, or the 2414. How much do you think for one of them? Now. They're not that dear, but they're £8 each. £8. But from China, they're £1 each. Yeah. So you can't compete against the price of that, but nowhere near the quality. Now, as I said before, you know, I'm paid per slate. I get paid for every one I make. It's piecework. So if I'm working with really good quality, maybe 800 in a day. So I'm going to make the quarry £6,400 if I work on the big ones. So what do I get paid for one of them? Maybe when I give you a take, what do I get? How much? 50. You said £1, so you're going to pay me £800, thank you. I think that's quite fair. I'm giving you 6,400, you're giving me £800. But it's 2 pence. 2 pence a slate today. If I was working there today, you get a penny for each one you split, you get a penny then for each one you dress. So you're getting £16 for making them, and they're getting 6,400. But you get a basic rate as well. I think the basic is about £300 a week. But it's not £300 a week. So it's not well paid for the things that they're making, and what they're paying out. Now, were you surprised at how much waste in the quarry? Yeah. You know, it's unbelievable, isn't it? For every ton of slate you split, maybe 8 to 9 ton of waste. So in the early years, you know, if that block wasn't workable, I would throw the block away. And that's what you can see when you come in here. But nowadays, if it doesn't make roofing slates, what they do now, they crush it. And then people have it in their gardens like we've got it out here, you know, separate bits. Anybody got this?
Yeah.
And the lady in the back there, did you buy it by the ton?
Yes, about.
Big,
Not ton.
not ton. Anybody buy it by the ton?
Yeah.
The gentleman on the
Yes.
end there? How much did you pay?
I would guess it's a few years ago, but I would guess it's about £40–50.
You're lucky. Because you buy this from a garden centre now with 30 merchants, you could be paying well over £100 a ton for this. But I can still get it in the quarry where I work. £10 a ton. And I deliver. Whereabouts? Where did you say?
Worcestershire.
Worcestershire. £12.50. And you put me up for a week. And something else to make with it as well. They crush it then into a very refined powder. The powder then is exported to Germany, where they take all the impurities like iron and copper out of it, and they make something special with that very refined powder. What do you think? Something else. Ladies? It goes into cosmetics. Yeah, talcum powder, eyeshadow, lipstick, used in toothpaste. Gentlemen with the glasses here, use hair gel. Gentlemen here, in white t-shirts, use hair gel. That's it, hair gel. Look what happens. How old are you? I'm 22. It doesn't work. Now, you know when I said about how thin we can get it down to, when this quarry was working in 1900 at its peak, there would have been 3,200 working this quarry. So a lot of them would have been youngsters learning the trade. And what this is a slate tank. Nobody seen one of these before? No. They're very, very, very. You like it? You like it? What's it worth? Very, very rare. This one made by very skilled, left-handed.
Novice.
How much? 200? No! If nobody outbids you, it's yours. Leg in the back here, got 1,500 bid there. How much? How much? Lady here? I'm trying to sell it. 1,500. I've got 50. I do the jokes. Have a guess. I'm going home at 5. 200.
Priceless.
I'm trying to sell it.
500.
500. 50. Are you from Scotland? Ladies?
400. 30.
That's even less. Dach chi 'di bod in? Dach chi 'di bod in?
Did you put on the one?
This lady from the posh part of Wales. What do you think? How much? 350.
350. Yeah.
£1,000.
Pardon?
£1,000.
And you're from?
New Zealand.
New Zealand. Anybody been to New Zealand here?
Whistler.
Did you enjoy it? Did you enjoy it?
Yes.
Wonderful. I took my wife there 3 years ago. We had a fantastic time. Still there. £80. It takes me 6 hours to make it, so it's £80. That's got to be worth 80, isn't it? It's the last one. It's the last one. Is it too heavy to
Yeah, too heavy for us.
I deliver.
You might find your wife though if you deliver it to New Zealand.
Pardon?
You might find your wife if you go back to New Zealand.
I bring it all straight and come on. Is that okay? Any questions?
Yeah, do you dress the slate first before splitting, or split and then dress?
Splits and dress.
Right.
Split and first, then dress.
And what sort of size would you get that blocking? Because obviously it's easy to handle like that. But
Yeah.
you've got a...
They get everything for nothing here now, because we get it from the quarry.
Yeah.
It works okay. So they're not going to give you the big ones, like they're only giving you small ones. But we would have had maybe a foot in thickness.
Really?
So we go down the middle every time, so we get it down to the thickness we require. It's not like slicing a loaf of bread. You have to go middle every time till you get it down to that kind of thing.
Ah, okay.
So do you use something like a jigsaw to do something like the dragon?
The dragon?
Or do you use a jigsaw?
No, not a jigsaw. No. I cut the dragon out so the hook is soft. So it's not a special blade, it's a blade used on timber. So the dragon takes me just as long to make. It takes me nearly 6 hours to make the dragon. The young gentleman in the back there, how old are you?
13.
13. And I had a young lad, he asked me about 2 years ago if he could hold this. He was 13. And you know what he did? Dropped it.
Smashed.
The head broke on it. I glued the head back on. This young lad never apologised. Awful. He's buried just... Does anybody want to hold this? Thank you. They've tried different ways of doing it. They saw into the block, but not been successful with this. Now, we normally keep these blocks wet, so they're going to split better for you, because if these heads dry out, they can give you a problem. I'm going to go for one of these at the back here. Now, you can only split this. Now, that's a bad one. You see that fault line in it there? We would throw this away, not good enough. So what I'm going to show you is how we do the slate splitting. Anybody seen this before?
In the video a little bit.
In the video. You see how easy they made it look?
Yeah. Easy you made it look.
Well, that film is 20 years old. The quality of slate is a lot better than what we've got here today. And that's my excuse if it doesn't split for me. Normally, you will split it from top to bottom, but I'm going to have to mark this all the way around. You wouldn't want to go any thinner, to be honest with you. But some of the quality of slates we have in here, that would split again for you. I can split that 4 times again. Did you say wow?
Yeah.
You believe me?
Not 4.
No, I believe you.
6 times?
I reckon you could do it.
I reckon we do 1 more time.
I reckon you do it.
Okay, I'll tell you what I'm going to do then. If I can't, I'll give you £60 cash. If I can't. If I can, you give me 30. Are we on? Okay. I'm going to show you, you'll be amazed when I show you at the the end how thin we can't get it down. But you know not to make roofing slate. That's what I think this is washing.
You can tell because that little model next door, so they've got the tiny
Isn't that unbelievable?
Yeah, it's cute.
That was all made by hand.
That's amazing.
He did that with a pocket knife.
Oh, wow.
It took him 3 years to make that.
Wow.
Yeah, unbelievable. You see the thickness of those?
Yeah, all the time.
So if we come on to here, is anybody left-handed here? If you were left-handed, you would struggle, because everything is geared for right-handed people. You had to work in right-handed. Now the main accident in here would have been on here, because if you catch this blade as you're cutting here, and you catch it on the wrong side here, you're going to come across that thumb. That used to be quite common here at one time. Many questions over the years. One of the questions I had was, how often would you lose the thumb? Once. How old are you? 20. 20. Do you want to try this? No? See how it's done?
Was it just maybe? What was the base of the knife?
The knife. It's anything they didn't use, you know, anything that was left open in the quarries, they made this.
Oh, it's actually a snake.
This?
Yeah.
No, it's steel.
Oh,
Steel.
sorry, yeah,
Yeah, it's steel. They would have been made out of old spring steel, like, you know.
Oh.
Every quarryman had one of these. In Welsh, it's called a Gilfach Ddu. In English, we call it a small knife. Not very small.
No.
And you see how sharp? You know, to be able to cut sleds. What you do with this then, you mesh with the threads, because you're trying to get the biggest piece you can out of it. So you mesh with it. This would give you a 14/8. I'm not going to do the other sides, but you do both sides and top and bottom. But there's a reason why we chamfer those edges. Why do you think? Why would you want to create that chamfered edge?
The roof tiles.
Why? Why?
To fit with the next one?
No. It's to allow for rainwater. If you were to put the square edge on the roof, you get that capillary reaction, so water will be going back under you. So that's why we do it. We don't get much rain here. When it does, this helps. And on average in a day, doing it like this, you could achieve around 400 slates in a day, split them and dress them. But the owners then wouldn't pay you for 400, they would take breakages off you. So you got blamed for the breakages even though you made them in perfect condition. And the reason they gave for that was transportation from this quarry. And if you have a look behind you here, all these slates that have been transported from here, they would have been loaded onto the ships then. And that port is only 8 miles away from here. And that's where they took the breakages. So you can imagine 400 slates before they moved. They decided to take 28 out of every 100 of you. No fault of your own. So they're only paying you for 288 slates even though you made 400. And then you were lucky if you worked here. If you worked further afield, let's say you worked in Gwynnedd, the distance then to Port Dinorwic would have been about 15 miles. So they're only paying you for 67 slates. They're taking 33 slates off you. If the distance becomes longer to travel, the more they're going to take.
Yeah, it's not right,
It's not right. It's not your fault. No. If any did break, I suppose some would break, you know, corners got missing. But they would have youngsters sitting by those ships then. So they'd have machines like this. So they're going to dress that slate down. So they're still getting paid for 400. It was just about getting more out of you and paying less for it. But they were taking breakages off us until the late 80s. I never worked in this one. I worked 10 miles from here. And the way that we had to count the sleds then, we used to count them 1, 2, 3, 4. But then they changed things. We'd have to count them in threes. So we go 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 18, so on. Every third slate we had to give it to them. So you go 3, 1 for them, 2 for me, 6, 2 for them, 4 for me. And there were some days, you know, if you're working with really good quality slate, the colour dictates to us, you know, how many I can do in a day. If I had a good day, maybe making 900 in a day, I'm getting paid for 600, and they're getting 300. And if you can imagine maybe 1,000 men just slate splitting, you look at the amount of slates they're getting off. every day for nothing. Unbelievable. Now, I'm just going to tell you a bit about this slate. You know, it's always been top quality. The reason this quarry closed, and I don't know if you've had a look next door, do you see how many quarries?
Yeah.
Huge amounts of quarries. Not major quarries like this one on the one where I worked in Glenn, they were huge quarries. The reason the quarry closed, they went bankrupt because they would have been privately owned. And you know, people think the block would have run out. It wasn't that at all. It was at one time here in Wales, you would only be allowed to use the Welsh slates and nothing else. Things started changing then. And on the wall in the far corner there, we have slates coming in from Spain, America, and especially from China, which are a lot cheaper now, slates.
Same quality then?
Different quality altogether, like, you know. You see the 2412, how much do you think each? What would you pay for one of them today?
No, it's a bit more than that, but it was in 90 something. That was 2003.
£8 each. £8 each. £8. But they're coming in from China for £1 each. So you know you can't compete against the price they got, but nowhere near the quality. Now, we worked on piecework, so you know I'm getting paid for every slate I make. So, like I said, you know I could have a good day making 800 of them in a day. So if you make 800 of them in a day, you're going to make the quarry £6,400. But I'm paid per slate. So how much do you think?
If they sell for £8, you're getting paid
for every slate I make. Let's say you're the boss now. I'm giving you one for £8. What you pay me back for one slate? Each one I give you is £8. By the end of the day, you've had £6,000. £2. Pardon? £2. £2. Gentlemen, there's going to pay me £1,600 a day. Thank you. When do you want me to start? I'd be jumping for joy. Be right with the 2 pence. 2 pence slates today, not 20, 30 years ago. Because what they do, they give you a penny for each one you split, so you get a penny then for each one you dress. But you get, I think the basic is about £300 a week, but it's not well paid when you think what they're making. You know?
To become a slate builder, is there an apprenticeship? Like, are you a craftsman?
Yeah, you do a 5-year apprenticeship. In the early years here, they did a 6-year apprenticeship. The reason for that was they had to work for nothing for the first year, just to show loyalty. And then these quarry owners then, they'd have their own shops as well. So they pay you, but you spend that money then in their shops. So they held all the cards, you know. So who watched the film? Watch the film. Did you see how much waste?
Yeah.
For every ton of slate, you split maybe 8 to 9 ton of waste. So in the early years, all that quarry waste would be thrown away. But today, these quarries, no waste. You see, when I threw that away, that would have been thrown like that years ago. But what they do now, they crush it, and then there's no waste whatsoever. People have it then in the gardens, you know, decorative bits. Anybody got it? Yes?
I've seen it in gardens.
Yeah, you've seen it? If you buy this from a garden centre or a building merchant, you could be paying well over £100 a tonne for this easily. I've had people pay a lot more than that. But 10 miles from here is a working quarry where I worked. I get this for £10 a tonne.
Oh, wow. Good
And
to know.
I deliver.
Whereabouts?
Oh.
4.5 hours away.
12.50, is that okay? Now something else they make with this quarry waste is they crush it then into a very refined powder. This then is exported to Germany. They take all the impurities like iron and copper out of it, and they make something special with this very, very fine powder. What do you think? Ladies?
Oh, makeup.
Goes into cosmetics. Talcum powder, eyeshadow, lipstick, used in toothpaste.
Is that healthy? Yeah, is it
Yeah.
the charcoal toothpaste?
Yeah. Use hair gel. That's in hair gel. Look what happens. And you're 22?
20.
I'm 22. Now, I'm going to show you, you know, when I said how thin we can get it down to, not to make roofing slates. When this quarry was working in 1890, there would have been 3,200 working this quarry. So a lot of them have been youngsters learning the trade. And you See the glass cabinet there?
Yeah.
They're slate fans. They're all cut by hand. This one is closed. Doesn't look anything like that, does it? But when I open it out, now this is all made by hand. They're exceptionally rare, these fans. They're all made by hand. What's this worth, do you think?
What is this?
Made by a very skilled left-handed quarryman, this one.
With both thumbs.
So how much? What are we looking at?
200.
200?
400?
400? Any more bids? Pardon? Yes, I'm trying to sell this. I do the jokes. You see, it's all cut by hand. You see the thickness, you can get it down to.
Wow.
It's unbelievable quality. It comes from one quarry, which is about 20 miles from here.
Wow.
So you said 200?
Mm-hmm.
If nobody outbids you there, it's yours, okay? How much?
1,000. Oh.
Yeah, probably 800, 1,000.
600.
600.
Go on, what do you
800. £80. It takes me 6 hours to make it, so it's £80.
Is that all?
Yeah.
That's amazing.
And I have to sell one every day. This is my last demonstration. I'm not sold one yet.
She wants to buy.
Yeah.
My wife. That's why I'm trying to sell this. I took my wife to New York 3 years ago, and she's still there. She wants to come home. I will send money out there so I can just keep her there, just give more years. But it's all made by hand, purely decorative. It would be like a competition piece, really.
Wow.
But it just shows you the quality of the slate. That would split again for you. This will go into dust before. There's one in the glass cabinet over there. There's 150 pieces now.
Sorry, in the big one or the small one?
Come and have a look at it. It's only a few of it. So come and have a look at it. The fragment takes me 6 hours to make. I should tell you the cooking. The small salt bath now. And you're from Bath?
Yeah.
And I really asked me if she could hold this. And she dropped it from Bath. Never apologised.
Please, there we go.
Well, she's buried up there. You want to hold this? You're welcome to sit here, but I'm going home. Is that okay? Any questions?
Yeah.
Does it layer so much? Is that each year or?
It's laid down in layers, like, it's only mud.
Is that like every year?
Well,